Indiana trying to keep pace with the Buckeyes and then hope their schedule leans in their favor down the Big Ten stretch. The Buckeyes grabbed sole possession again earlier today when they opened our triple-header with a narrow victory at home against the Northwestern Wildcats. So we'll pick it up with under 2 minutes to play. And the Wildcats, Winston Blake's three as time expires, 3 of his 25, and it's a 4-point ball game. Brent Darby slices through traffic, and it's a 2-point ball game. Now, down the stretch, Tavares Hardy with a chance. Oh, it doesn't go. Jatim Young doesn't get the tip, and the Buckeyes get off the floor with a 58-57 win. Brent Darby winds up with 26 points, including 11 straight down the stretch, 11 of the last 12 Ohio State points, and they win it by 1. Coming up, it's the Indiana Hoosiers. They have a shot to go to 8-1 as they take on the Minnesota Golden Gophers coming up right after this.
Now, your first source for round-the-clock sports news is even better. The new ESPN News. A brand new look with the enhanced bottom line that's always on and lets you know what's ahead. Constant score updates and live in-game stats. Highlights, news conferences, analysis, and more. The new ESPN News is here.
You know, we at ESPN were always complaining about how there weren't any good places for sports fans to eat.
Look, it's a hairnet, it's the law, all right?
So we opened ESPN Zone. Non-stop sports coverage. Tons of cool games. And really terrific food.
He got it. She got it. They got it.
But really, ESPN Zone's a place where everybody, even Grandma, can let loose. Booyah! Have fun.
There's a place.
Jerry Rice is the touchdown scorer of the century.
A place for discovery. And a place to remember.
Thank you for touching us all.
It's a place where your heroes never retire.
This one's for John.
The place is ESPN Classic. To get ESPN Classic, call 1-800-CLASSIC today.
Today's Big Ten game is brought to you by American Century, managing money for individuals and institutions for over 40 years. Advance Auto Parts, the best part is our people. Cooper Tire, proud to be the official tire of the Big Ten Conference. Cooper Tires, drive on. Volkswagen, on the road of life, there are passengers and there are drivers. 7-Up and your local 7-Up bottler. Make 7-Up yours. And by Citgo. At Citgo, we enjoy basketball as much as you do. Citgo, we know you. Indiana, will they go to 8-1 and return home to Bloomington for back-to-back home games? Or can Minnesota do Ohio State a huge favor and pull off the upset today? The Gophers already have that victory over Ohio State. As a matter of fact, they've yet to lose a conference game in Williams Arena. Should be a good one. Here's Jim Barber and Sean Morris.
Thank you, Mike. Those are great questions. It's a big matchup, and it's the biggest crowd of the year at the barn between the Hoosiers and Gophers. Big game in the conference standings, number 2 versus number 3. Jared Jeffries leads the conference in scoring. I know you like a lot of things about this guy.
Well, Jared Jeffries, Jim, everything runs through him for the Indiana Hoosiers. His ability to score down on the blocks frees up three-point shooting opportunities for his teammates, particularly Coverdale, Hornsby, and Fife. But everything runs through him. He's the leading Conference Player of the Year candidate right now, and with good reason. First in scoring, second in rebounding. This sophomore has really produced for the Indiana Hoosiers. His counterpart for the Minnesota Golden Gophers, 6'10" freshman Rick Rickert from Duluth, Minnesota, has the ability to step out and knock down the three, but also versatile enough to go down, showing some good footwork, has the ability to score down on the block, as his 54% field goal percentage can attest.
Sean, earlier this week, both guys played well, 26 points apiece, and both teams won. That was more important. History not on the side of the Indiana Hoosiers. They've lost the last 4 times at the barn, and last year an improbable loss.
Well, Minnesota maintained their composure, being down 13 with under 3 minutes to go, Jim. It was their defense that got him back into it, forcing overtime. But down the stretch, Dusty Reichert, 6 of 6 from the foul line, as Minnesota was able to come all the way back and seal the game from the charity stripe.
This was a game where Mike Davis said afterwards for Indiana, I was out-coached. I should have made some adjustments.
And I think it took Indiana a little bit of time to recover as they headed into the Big Ten tournament.
So from 13 down to 4+, and at 14-1 run, Indiana has not forgotten And they haven't forgotten Dusty Reichard as well.
And they also have to contend with another weapon in Rick Rickert, a freshman that was not on the floor a year ago.
Let's take a look at the starting lineups. We begin with Indiana, fresh off the win 48 hours ago over Purdue. A dominating performance, particularly in the first half, as the Hoosiers outscored the Boilermakers in that first half 34-15. Jared Jeffries leads the gang. It's a 3-guard lineup, and Tom Coverdale, his coach, says he brings the fight to you.
He's third in the conference in assists, 52% from behind the arc in Big Ten play.
And for the Gophers, 2 men at forward, 1 in the middle, and 2 good-looking guards. But it's Dusty Reichard, the walk-on. Formerly, he's the player to watch.
And what doesn't show up in the box score are the hustle plays and the ability to keep possessions alive for this Minnesota team.
What a wonderful atmosphere for college basketball today. Sit back and enjoy as we bring you Indiana and Minnesota, the only time they'll meet. And the second week in a row that Minnesota has played host to a pretty good team that didn't have much time to prepare. Herwin Fleming running the show for the Gophers. We're underway. That's Reichard. And there's Rickard. Rickard one way, shooting the other, leaves it short, and Coverdale with a rebound for Indiana. A wide open Fife. Minnesota can't let that happen.
No, you have to find those 3 shooters, particularly Fife, who's really stepped up his offensive performance in his final year at Indiana.
Oh, has he ever? He started the conference season 0 for 10. Rickard, who had the 26 the other night. Fleming now in the starting lineup for the 3rd straight game for Minnesota. Rickard will try again and leaves it short. Nothing for 2 so far in the rebound to the Hoosiers. Hornsby, dump off to Odell, blocked, and a foul on Rickard. Indiana love to get him into foul trouble.
Outstanding job of running the secondary bake right there by Indiana, Jim. They kick it out to Hornsby. Good job of closing out on the 3-point shooter. But the big fella Odell, who I think may be one of the most improved players in the league, runs the floor. He's rewarded. We'll go to the line, shoot a couple.
Mike Davis's team pushing the ball up nicely so far. It was the Northwestern game that Odell stepped in for an injured George Leach, who got hurt on the opening tip in that game. How bizarre.
He turned his ankle on the opening tip, and as you mentioned, Jared Odell, particularly from that 12 to 15-foot range, Jim, really lifted Indiana in that conference opener.
Giving the Hoosiers more offensive punch. They're off to a good start, leading 4-0. Over 14,000 today at Williams Arena, and it will be loud if the Gophers hang in there. Reichard. So far for Minnesota, 1 and out. Look at Jeffries' battle inside against Holman.
This is really the first time that Indiana has had to go into their half-court set. Their other looks have come in transition or early offense.
And they have been good looks so far. From long range, Odell gets it. It's a long 2, and you're right. His offense really starting to produce. 6-0 Hoosiers. The Gopher fans a little anxious right now. I don't blame them.
And if you're Minnesota, it might be time to get something going to the rim, maybe draw a foul, because right now they're operating almost exclusively on the perimeter.
Reichard cut off. Rickard can hit the long jumper. Once again, 1 shot and out for Minnesota. You sense the Gophers are a little tight?
A little tight, particularly Rickard, who's forced 3 shots.
Indiana trying to build up an 8 or 9-0 lead to start. Odell will try again, this time a little long. And Minnesota scoreless for more than 2 minutes, back on offense. Indiana the better of the shooting. The Gophers looking for their first points. Now Holman mishandles. And a dangerous pass to Rickard. Minnesota not able to get into its offense. A tough shot there. And a rebound to Jeffries. Another opportunity for Indiana. Quickly to Odell. Rejected by Travaris Bennett.
Once again, it's the secondary break, Jim, which leads to Odell getting down to the block, but he fades away, allowing Bennett to extend the arms, block the shot.
Had he just taken it up, might have got a basket and won. Indiana with a 6-0 lead without the benefit of Jared Jeffries so far. Hornsby for three. And this time the Gophers with the rebound. 6-0 in favor of Indiana.
Let's see if they isolate Bennett. He can take Hornsby off the dribble if they clear out a side for him.
Bennett was super against Ohio State. Did not miss anything from the field or from the line. 21 points. That'll be on Jared Jeffries. Skobova spotted an elbow. Number 1 on him.
And Jim, even though Minnesota has forced a couple of quick shots, Rickard in particular, you have to give a great deal of credit to Indiana's half-court defense, which has really locked down Minnesota, forcing them to operate almost exclusively from the perimeter. The only dribble drive penetration they got there was good help forcing a wild shot by Fleming.
Another foul on Indiana. Fife upset with a call by Sid Roadheffer, and so Indiana picks up 2 fouls in the very same possession. Indiana's defense, Mike Davis was asked after the Purdue game, hey, your defense doesn't get enough credit. He says, that's fine. I would just as soon people not pay attention to how well we play in the half court. But they're pitching a shutout so far. Bauer tries to change that and does.
Well, what a great luxury to have for Coach Dan Munson, to have guys like Rickard, and in that case Bauer at 6'8" and 6'10" that can step out and knock down that perimeter jump shot, stretch the defense.
Good feed from Coverdale. We got a foul coming up. Maybe on the drive to the basket. That luxury is created by Munson bringing Bauer now off the bench. He was a starter for some time. They had a rough road trip, blew a lead at Michigan. 2 of the captains were relegated to the bench, but I think it gives him more offensive punch.
And it also gives him a chance to see how the game is being called and how the flow of the game is progressing. They also have a similar situation with Burleson, who seems more comfortable coming off the pine.
And in fact, Kevin had 9 assists the other night in the win against Penn State.
Jim, Minnesota showing a little bit of zone here.
Who tracks down the rebound? It'll be out of bounds when we come back to Minnesota. Indiana had the good start. Bauer just got the 3 moments to go. 15:56 for the opening half. Number 2 and number 3 at each other in the conference.
Winter X Games 6 in Aspen begins February 1st on ESPN.
Lance, what's the story?
Hey, Dan, sorry. Thought everybody left for the night.
Can I get you an energy bar? How about some water?
No, man, I'm okay.
You good?
Thanks.
All right.
Every Sunday, ESPN Classic reminds you why some of the biggest titles in sports weren't won on the field. They were watched on the screen.
Let's go while we're young.
Hollywood's biggest films.
Let's show them what we got, guys.
And its heaviest hitters. Real classics, where the world of sports and movies collide. Every Sunday night at 9 on ESPN Classic.
Let's take a moment to thank our Big Ten corporate partners. Cooper Tires, proud to be the official tire of the Big Ten Conference. Cooper Tires, drive on. WorldSpan, official travel distribution and technology provider of the Big Ten Conference. Scudder Investments, translating opportunity. As we're going to break, Phil Bova, the official on the play. Bennett was okay, but Bova, a misstep there.
Rolled that right ankle, but it's that time of year when everybody's got to play hurt, including the officials.
Roger Schiffer, the assistant trainer out there to help out for Minnesota. It remains 6-3 Indiana. Gophers just 1 of 7 shooting in their home arena. But as they continue to win, the games get even more important, and I think they're feeling some of the significance here in the early moments. Fife for another three. Knocks it down, and Dane Fife off to a terrific start.
And Jim, that's a shot a year ago he would not have taken, let alone made.
Emphasis this year, Dane, you got to shoot the ball for us. That started in Alaska, in the Alaska shootout. Bauer again. Bauer's got both threes from Minnesota.
And that shot came as a result of going inside to Holman, forcing Indiana to double down, allowing Bauer to spot up at the foul line.
One of the better three-point shooters in the Big Ten Conference. Gophers with a little bit of a trap there, but Indiana no difficulty, leading 9-6.
Minnesota once again showing a little zone.
A little more than 5 minutes gone by here at Williams Arena in Minneapolis, where Munson's team trails the Hoosiers 9-6. They've trailed from the beginning. Across the country, we don't have the surprises we had a few Saturdays ago, but there's one of them. Cincinnati Marquette. Cincinnati losing in Wisconsin today. I think the Bearcats still have a chance to get the Final Four, though.
They're very big. In addition to that final score, the fact they give up 74 points might even be more impressive for Marquette.
Violation against Indiana, so Minnesota's had a chance to tie with a three.
And in that possession, the zone defense that Minnesota employed really got Indiana out of their comfort zone. They've been getting so much in secondary breaks and early offense that when they had to settle down in that zone, gave them a little different look. They struggled in that possession, Jim.
Last 4 losses for Indiana at the barn by 4, 2, 3, and 7 points in 2 of those games overtime. One of them we highlighted at the beginning. Good dump down to Rickard.
Nice touch pass. Two-man game. The senior to the freshman. Rickard steps up top. Good court awareness.
After a very difficult start for the Gophers, they're back.
Watch right here. Watch the touch pass. Doesn't really get it completely under control. Leads the freshman. Nice job of coming under control. Excellent play right there by Jeffries, understanding he wasn't in a position to block the shot, not to pick up a cheap foul.
And in this game, Jared Jeffries yet to score for Indiana. The freshman from Duluth has put the Gophers ahead for the first time.
And that time, Jim, he came under control, recognized the defense, nice spin away from the defensive player.
Now Newton strong to the basket, offensive foul. And after a pretty good beginning for Indiana, what's happening right now?
Well, right now they're getting out of sync, but the last offensive play, nice little, good footwork. You don't see that footwork at almost any level of basketball. And then on the other end, Newton trying to get it all back. Rickard picks it up defensively. Nice job of sliding over and taking the punch. Good sequence for the freshman from Duluth.
Rick Rickard said, bring on the Hoosiers. And they've got him today, and they have a 1-point lead. Traveling on Minnesota. Jeffries not in the offense yet so far. We have played 6.5 minutes.
So right now, they're in a similar situation are the Hoosiers that I think Minnesota found themselves in. They need to get something going to the rim.
Tough catch for Jeffries, and a foul coming up on Travaris Bennett. They're looking to go alley-oop, and on the alley-oop, Jeffries had to wait a little bit.
And Jim, when you get over the top of that pressure, you have to attack the rim. And Indiana did just that. Bennett came over. They called a foul. He'll shoot a couple.
After a great show against Purdue, 26 points, 12 rebounds. More questions for Jeffries about his interest after the season for the pros, and he said, I'm not talking about that. Mike Davis said, love to have him, but, you know, if he does go, we'll reload. You know, life will go on.
But whether it's next year or he completes all 4 years of eligibility or somewhere in between, I don't think that anyone in the state of Indiana is going to have to worry about passing the hat for that young man.
No.
There's a big payday coming his way.
Not at all. A.J. Moye in for the first time for Indiana. Kyle Hornsby gets a rest here at Williams Arena. 11-10 in favor of 25th rated Indiana.
Moye in there right now because of the 2 quick baskets that Bauer got. Moye in there for defensive purposes.
Rickard establishing position. Saw them practice yesterday, and his coach said, don't go soft out here. You got to attack these people. We're not running away from Indiana, and Rickard is doing just that.
And Fife just picked up his second foul for the Indiana Hoosiers on that dribble drive.
And Fife was the man that got Indiana off to the great beginning.
Fife will probably go to the bench. I think they're going to bring in Perry here, Jim.
Pretty good defensive player, the freshman, Donald Perry. So they lose some offense, but on defense, it's pretty much a wash, I think. Rickard playing with such energy, such confidence lately. He has 6, so the Gophers 12 points. 7 minutes gone by. Coverdale with a pretty fake. And buries the 3, Tom Coverdale.
Nice job of letting the defender fly by. Then he gets a deflection right there in defensive transition as well.
Gophers pick up the loose ball. Reichard with the miss. The rebound to Moye. Rickard jumping right out on Perry. Not apt to shoot the 3.
They need to get Jeffries a touchdown on the block. At least let him catch it. Or he can catch it coming out of the net as Coverdale drains a 3.
Yeah, that's right. Just give it to Tom or give it one of the guards. Indiana by 5, and Jared has just 2 free throws. So I would assume that's not bad for Indiana, although they will not go away from Jeffries forever.
And to his credit, Jim, he hasn't forced anything. He's let the game come to him, understanding that right now his teammates are carrying the offensive load, not trying to put anything on his shoulders unnecessarily.
Tough catch and shoot for Michael Bauer. Is Michael Bauer feeling it out there or what?
3 jump shots, and they all had one thing in common, Jim. They were all standstill. If you're Indiana, you must find him, jam him, try to beat you off the dribble.
Now a steal by Burleson for the Gophers, who tries to beat Perry to the basket. 14,000th on a foul is called. Indiana plays on. Coverdale, long range. 3 knocks it down. Tom Coverdale. What terrific range.
He launched that thing from Albert Lee.
Woo. And that's pretty far.
That is far.
Offense is picking up nicely in this game. Looking for the drop down to Rickard. Newton established his spot there to make sure he did not get a move on him. Tom Coverdale, 3 made threes. Perry's going to try one, left a little short. There's Jeffries. Could not follow. Mo Hargrove in the open court.
Nice job by Hargrove right there in the secondary break, Jim, of coming under control, not attacking the rim, forcing Coverdale to make a decision.
Mo's got some quickness, and he's got some jump to him. Yesterday in practice, he had a few of those going up above the rim, and a foul called on the Gophers, which should mean free throws for Indiana. Dan Munson is discussing perhaps an earlier shot by Hargrove that did not draw a foul, even though he got the basket.
His first, team 4.
The intensity of this game today and watching the coaches get involved around this whole city. Fans wired for the Gophers as they have been moving up the standings bit by bit. And a win today puts them very much in position for a chance at a Big Ten championship. Ohio State's barely escaping against Northwestern.
Brent Darby really the story in that game. Solid guard play has carried the Buckeyes all season long, Jim.
10:50 for the opening half. Indiana on the strength of threes leads Dan Munson and Minnesota by 5.
I'm Joe Tight Shorts, college basketball expert. I'm here all season offering tips while my assistant Buzzy works the game films. I'm not here to change your diapers, ladies. I'm here to help you learn. Let's show them a little D. Psych out your opponent with my tip-off trance. You gotta own that territory. Stick with me, come away a smarter player. College basketball on ESPN. Learn from the best.
Welcome to the annual ESPN the Magazine Sports Mascot Picnic. Every year, pro and college mascots come from all over to talk about how much they love ESPN the Magazine. You know more mascots subscribe to ESPN the Magazine than any other sports magazine in the world? And every new subscriber gets this ESPN the Magazine fleece pullover absolutely free.
Get 26 issues 1 year for just $1 an issue.
Hey, pick up the phone and call for ESPN the Magazine and your free fleece pullover.
Oh, yeah. Grand slam home run for Ripken. And Gwynn will win it for the Padres.
game of the ESPN triple header, and it's been three-point shooting on both sides. Very impressive.
Well, Bauer big off the bench for Minnesota. Hit 3 threes all from standstill. Tom Coverdale showing his range. Once again, it's Bauer stepping off. Good job of catching the ball in rhythm. He's been a big lift off the bench for Minnesota. And for Indiana, a lot of those three-point shots came in transition early in this half on their secondary break.
These two teams can't keep that up, can they?
You wouldn't think so, but hey, it's 50 degrees almost in Minneapolis, so anything's possible.
Starting to think that's the average temperature. Last week it was low 50s, golf weather in the city of Minneapolis. Great fans here and a great venue. The Barn, been around since 1928. Been a house of horrors for the Hoosiers the last 4 times in. Jeffries making Holman work, and Holman turned it over, and Coverdale's got a foot race to the basket. Reverse layup for Tom Coverdale. A basket and one and a grin.
Poor sequence right there by Minnesota, because Holman would have been better off trying to either get control of the basketball, not throw the ball toward the opponent's basket, because what it does is it leads to a breakaway opportunity. Watch it on the far sideline. Good active hands by Jeffries. Now Holman would have been better off just trying to control that basketball. He's trying to flip it to his teammate Burleson. Burleson tries to make up for the mistake, but the mistake right there, going from offense to defense, leads to a three-point opportunity for Coverdale.
Munson unable to get some of his other guys into the offensive floor. That includes Jerry Holman. He's been frustrated out there so far. Indiana without Jarrett Jeffries, protecting now an 8-point lead in this game. Rickert turning and scoring. Rick Rickert.
Now that is a tough shot for a couple of reasons. One, he's fading away. Second, he's going over an outstanding shot blocker in Newton.
If you had seen him a month ago, as I saw him in Lubbock against Texas Tech, what a difference.
When you see that ball go through the rim, your confidence continues to grow.
Coverdale can't hit that one, but Perry got the rebound. Moye on a little skip and a dunk, and almost everybody touched the ball on that possession.
Nice job by Moye right there on the scramble situation. Breaks down Minnesota. The leave and the finish for Newton.
No surprise, Indiana's up at the top of the conference. A win today puts them back into a tie with Ohio State. Two teams will see each other on February 20th. Here the business at hand is Minnesota. Bullet underneath to Rickert. Basket in one. Well done.
Well, Rickert moving without the basketball is rewarded. We've seen his ability to knock down perimeter jump shots and score on the block. Good job of finding him by Bauer. Takes the contact. You see it coming right at you. Takes the contact by Newton. Keeps his eye on the rim and the finish.
Rick Rickert with 10 of Minnesota's 21. Top scorer for IU is Tom Coverdale with 12, and a strength of 3 of those from the arc. Free throw missed. It remains 27-21. A lot of points so far. That might favor Indiana. When they score above 75, they're virtually unbeatable. In fact, over the last couple of years, they've won 23 in a row when they've reached that number. 10 on a shot clock, and the dump off to Leach, who nails the left-handed jumper. Indiana's game offensively very strong today.
Boy, if you're Indiana, anything you can get offensively from Leach is a bonus. He's in there for defensive purposes and to block shots, but a nice job of stepping out, knocking down that corner jumper.
The other night, Sean, in Bloomington, he had 3 pretty awesome blocks against Purdue. Whitecard trying to muscle his way in to find Rickert. Played catch over there, didn't they?
And the great thing about Rickert right there, he never left the floor from the rebound. He just sealed off the Indiana player inside, shot the ball without leaving the floor.
I've seen the Gophers enough. They don't practice that, by the way.
Once again, Indiana able to get over the top of that Minnesota pressure, and Leach 4 quick points off the bench for Indiana.
Indiana's breaking that pressure. If you're the Gophers, do you back off of it?
Yeah, because they're losing points off of it right there. If you're slowing up Indiana, which is what they're trying to do, it's a benefit. If they're getting over the top, getting 3-on-2s, 2-on-1s, you're going to have to rethink that strategy.
Also had a made 3 early. Good pass off and jumper for 3. Rims in and out. Travaris Bennett can hit it. But Indiana now can build on an 8-point lead. And underneath, missed. Moye to follow. Wow.
And the transition offense for Indiana, they are just blowing by Minnesota defensively, getting clean looks. And in addition, Minnesota is not cleaning up on the glass, providing a second chance scoring opportunity for Moye right there.
Maybe the Gophers want to settle into a half-court game more, and on that possession, Holman able to get a good position inside.
And Coach Dan Munson was signaling for his team to get out of the pressure, trying to back them off. They didn't see a sign.
Hard not to be tempted by this tempo, but it favors Indiana. Moye gets an offensive rebound, and the Hoosiers are getting a lot of rebounds so far.
And Moye bailed himself out because that was a poor shot in transition right there for Indiana.
A 15-5 edge on the board so far, Sean. Well, it was supposed to be a pass to Leach. They weren't on the same page or area code there.
But the only guy that might have been open might have been Goldie Gopher.
Yeah, and he's not going to catch him. Right team on the other end. And that brings the Gophers back within 6.
Second time that Reichert has used his body to seal off the defender and score at the rim.
Indiana takes a 30-second timeout, and Munson's giving his bit to the Gophers. The Barn, Williams Arena, Minneapolis, where Indiana has had the lead for most of the first half, but the Gophers have just closed within 6 points. I'm Jim Barber with Sean Morris. Great to have you here in an atmosphere that never seems to get quiet, does it?
Having a lot of fun here, Jim. There's a lot worse ways to spend a Saturday afternoon than seeing a great contest like this.
Very excitable place, and last week when Munson's team trailed Ohio State by 8, got right back in it and won by 18. Sean's been talking about Indiana's transition game so far, and it's been very impressive.
Watch Coverdale with his head up. Newton not able to convert, but Moye running the floor cleans up. That has been the story for Indiana. They've been able to get out an early offense, even though Jeffries has been maintained in check by Minnesota by design. It's been his teammates in transition that have allowed Indiana to build this 6-point bulge.
Jeffries back in again. The best player in the conference has only 2 points. But it's not like he's invisible out there. He will be a man to deal with as this one progresses.
And Minnesota again, Jim, trying to show a different look, going zone here on this possession.
Indiana's got some shooters out there. Coverdale wanted the ball earlier, and instead it got to him late. Now the Gophers in transition. That's a basket, and this time Minnesota got down quickly.
And Minnesota returns the favor to Indiana. Early offense, good catch by Bauer in the corner, finding Reichert under the rim.
We've got plenty of offense there today. Still 6 minutes left in the first half. Indiana's 10-point lead is down to 4.
I can still feel his hooks in my ribs and taste the leather from his uppercuts. So why should I get out of the corner? Because I'd gladly take another 3 minutes of pain for a shot at a title. Wouldn't you?
Friday Night Fights on ESPN2.
All right, Mike, hour 32 of ESPN Radio's Hands on the Heisman contest continues, and so far we don't see any quit in any of these contestants.
Except for me. They quit soon. 32 hours. This is amazing how long they can stand there, let alone stand with their legs and then hang on to something as well. It's very impressive so far. I couldn't do this.
It's not so much the endurance, it's the ability to withstand the boredom. For a check of the ESPN radio station near you, go to espnradio.com.
The games that became classics. The athletes that became legends. The moments that became history. They're all on ESPN Classic. Explore the best in sports history through programs that take you inside the game, the life, the moment like no one else can. Call 1-800-CLASSIC and experience ESPN Classic.
Now let's take a moment to thank our Big Ten corporate partners. 7-Up and your local 7-Up bottler. Make 7-Up yours. MBNA, the official credit card sponsor of the Big Ten. Gatorade Thirst Quencher. Gatorade, is it in you? Jim Barber with Sean Morris and 14,000 crazies.
And that last basket really got the momentum swinging in Minnesota's favor once again. Good look by Bauer off the secondary break, finding Reichert, who used the left hand and finished for the Golden Gophers.
Under 6 minutes for the first half. Coverdale, another three on the way, and he nails another three, his fourth made three of the afternoon.
That play made possible by Jeffries, who drew the attention of Minnesota's defense, the good pitch pass, and spot up by Coverdale.
Indiana getting an offensive rebound. The rebounding favoring Indiana huge in this game, 17-5.
And a lot of those, Jim, have come on the offensive end of the floor where they've been able to keep possessions alive. Moye very active on the offensive glass for the Hoosiers.
5:15 and a bad pass for Fife. He was looking for Jeffries, who has yet to get his first field goal in this game.
Poor decision, because even if Jeffries catches that, he has nowhere to go with it, Jim.
But the good news, Sean, for Indiana, +7 without the offensive Jeffries. And a foul called on the Hoosiers.
I think they got Hornsby on that on the hold.
32 foul Hornsby's first, team 6. Minnesota with 12 total, 7 for 40 goals.
More substitutions for both ends. Indiana adds another big man back in the lineup. A give and go, but Reichert on the go did not get the bounce pass. So it remains Hoosiers by 7. They've had control of this first half, although in this venue, do you ever really get control if you're the visiting team?
You really don't, because Minnesota just keeps hanging around, doing a nice job, even though they're getting beaten on the boards right now.
Fife on a little lean in, rebound, another offensive board. Indiana continues to control the board work. Time now for a look at the Army of One, brought to you by the United States Army. A review of the 1987 National Championship team, Indiana. A record of 30-4 under the direction of Bob Knight. The victory with Keith Smart, the game-winning basket at the Superdome in Louisiana.
Site of another big game tomorrow, Jim.
Super Bowl 36.
I think they're playing a football game.
A couple of starting quarterbacks with a few Minnesota ties in that game.
Boy, and Leach, a nice lift off the bench for Indiana. A couple of baskets, 2 free throws, 6 points, good defensive presence as well.
Probably a few IU fans at home are saying, now who else played on that 87 team, Jim? Well, how about Steve Alford? Now the coach of the Hawkeyes, who brings Iowa to Bloomington Tuesday night.
And now with Minnesota going straight man, let's see if Indiana makes a concerted effort to get the ball in Jeffries' hands.
Odell tries to bounce it inside. There it is to Jeffries. Got it blocked once. Follow-up and basket. His first basket of the first half, 16 minutes in, and Indiana is a monster on the boards in this game.
Well, Holman, a nice job of rotating over. Ball kind of skids through there. Not exactly the prettiest pass in America. Jeffries not able to contain it. Good job. And watch how quickly Holman gets back up. Good play by both of those players. Holman staying with it defensively. Jeffries not getting frustrated.
Nearly another offensive rebound for IU. This almost doesn't make sense. 20-5 Indiana on the boards against the tall Minnesota team, Sean.
And they're doing it on the offensive glass. They're keeping things alive. Moye, Leach, Newton, all of those guys are doing a good job of allowing Indiana to get second and in some cases third scoring opportunities.
If the Gophers want to hang on to third, as Munson reads them the riot act right here, they have got to find a way to get on the boards. At the beginning, we talked about the big men in this game. Jared Jeffries, #1, and #1 for Minnesota, Rick Rickard. And with only 4 points for Jeffries, you'd think, well, Indiana's in trouble.
But Jeffries not forcing anything. Rickard, I thought, was forcing some shots early on, but he's obviously settled down. To Jeffries' credit, hasn't really forced any shots. The 5 rebounds as compared to Rickard's 0. Really the story for both teams as Indiana is dominating this game on the glass.
Yeah, I agree. Rickard's got to get some rebounds at his height and at his position that he plays. Under 4 minutes for the opening half. Hoosiers trying to retie Ohio State for the conference lead. Burleson able to sneak through but couldn't draw the basket. Hoosiers are looking at a double-digit lead. Indiana, a very good team on the road this year. Of course, they played a lot of road games and neutral site games back in November, December. That's really starting to help them. A foul on the Gophers. They're over the limit in personal fouls, so Indiana has free throws coming. Second foul on Jerry Holman, and Jared Jeffries will step back to the line. Very gracious kid, number 1 for the Hoosiers. Spent a lot of time signing autographs after the win over Purdue. And this Indiana team really enjoying its recent success. They've got a nice run going right now. The lead in this game has reached 11, the largest so far. Jeffries now with 6 points and 5 big offensive rebounds in the Hoosiers' advantage.
You like the conditioner and shampoo in one?
Well, yeah, you know, I do, but it does leave my hair a little oily and dang it!
What is wrong with you idiot? This is not a toy.
Easy, Bobby. He's sensitive.
What if he tore it off? I can't believe.
You've got some big ones, my friend. I didn't think you had it in you.
Scratch here. The dent over here. Parkway for a 3.
27-year-old Steffi Graf, Wimbledon champion.
The Super Bowl most valuable player is Troy Aikman.
1 second on the clock.
Can happen to the best of us. This time it happened to Rich.
Keep in touch.
He ended up getting sent down.
And now for sport.
Thank you, Courtney. All JV wrestlers must return their uniforms to Coach.
He was a real asset down there. His maturity, his experience.
Miss Joyson, could you buy some beer? Okay, when I go like this, that's your cue.
No.
Please?
No.
Come on.
No.
Do you even go to this school? Because you're not supposed to be on the show unless you go to this school.
But we're glad he worked his way back to the show, and I'm sure he is too.
So, let's see some James K. Polk spirit.
Here in the Big 12, Kansas pounding on Colorado. Drew Gooden coming off a 26-point game. Already 15 points, 10 rebounds. It's 71-41 Jayhawks. Let's go back to Jim and Sean in Minneapolis.
Wow, Mike, a few nights ago, Kansas pounded on Missouri. That's pretty good week for the Jayhawks.
Speaking of pounding, that's exactly what Indiana is doing to Minnesota on the glass. As you take a look at the statistics, Indiana with 9 offensive rebounds as compared to only 6 total rebounds for the Minnesota Golden Gophers. That's something for Minnesota to get back in this ballgame. They're obviously going to have to address at the intermission.
Certainly, because both teams are shooting the ball very well, particularly from the three-point line. Fleming will try a 3. Missed it. We've got contact inside. It's a clear out. And it's on the Gophers, so we've got free throws coming up. Let's take a look at a Suzuki top performer. Well, he's a good one, too, I think.
Very appropriate. That young man tops in the conference in scoring, second in rebounding. Outstanding career as well.
Find out who the top performers of the season are as Suzuki presents the magazine, ESPN Magazine's College Basketball Awards during the Final Four week in Atlanta. Indiana can widen its lead, but misses the 1-and-1. One early lead by the Gophers at 11-10. That's been it so far. The offense starting with the play of Michael Bauer with a couple of made threes, along with Rickards points. Everybody else pretty quiet. And I think Minnesota needs to get other people involved, Sean.
And maybe get something going to the rim.
Hornsby taking it strong to the rim. And that means free throws coming up for Kyle Hornsby. Coming up on the American Century halftime report from Sports Center in game. Mike will have highlights from today's first two games. A look at top 25 action. And Sean and I will look back at our first half. Ohio State barely beat Northwestern, but did win. Keep hold of first place in the conference. Iowa convincing its win over Penn State. This time 2 for Indiana at the line. It's 43-31 Hoosiers. Well, Minnesota tried to match the transition game, and that didn't work. Not to mention its problems rebounding. Now it's a 13-point advantage. And if this is a track meet, Indiana is going to love that.
And if you're Minnesota, absolutely no reason to hit the panic button and start settling for threes. You got 2.5 minutes to go in the first half. You try to get it into single digits going into the locker room, and then you'll have the momentum and can chip away.
A little more patience on this offensive set, and that got an open right card for 2. Minnesota needs to get this to a half-court game and also needs to make Indiana go 1 and out.
And Jim, with Reichert checking Jeffries, they might want to look in there.
And instead they find Jarrett Odle.
And what happened on that situation when Odle stepped up to the high post, his defender doubled down on Jeffries, allowing the clean look at the rim.
How about a 46-point first half for the Indiana Hoosiers? Not that they're not capable of this, but they're getting so many second opportunities with a rebounding that has a 3-1 edge on Minnesota. Indiana comes in as the best defensive rebounding team, but it's been their offensive rebounding equally as strong. Mo Hargrove nowhere to go. Good defense by Perry.
Boy, and Indiana just taking away any safety valve that might have been there.
So they've got to force one up, and that means rebound Indiana. 90 seconds for the first half. Hornsby tried to catch and run. Jeffries got it anyway. Now 2 Hoosiers down. This looks like a hockey 2-man advantage. 5 against 3. And Hargrove able to get to the basket as Indiana had 2 less defenders on that sequence.
I was waiting for a couple of guys to come over the boards and do the line shift.
You get an advantage like that on a power play, you should score. Hockey huge in this area, as most fans know. Offensive foul on Odle, and Indiana does not want to undo what it has put together over the last 19 minutes or so here in the waning seconds.
Well, a good little lob pass, the rotation over by Reichert. He takes the punch, which weighs off the hoop, allowing Minnesota now a chance to come down and cut into this lead. But regardless of what they do, Indiana is going to get the ball back.
Fleming looks to the wing for some help here. And now to Hargrove. Hargrove's seen a lot of activity over the last 3 games for the Gophers. 15 on the possession clock. Now 10. Minnesota could use the rest of the clock for the first half, but they'll shoot free throws.
And that's a rarity for Minnesota in the first half, Jim. A second chance scoring opportunity as a result of an offensive rebound. Once again, it's the savvy of Reichert. Doesn't jump very high to get the rebound, but rides the Indiana defender in, shields him with his body, allowing Minnesota to retain possession.
And because Minnesota drew the foul on Jeffries, Jared will sit down with 2 fouls. No sense risking him the last 22 seconds. And Dusty Reichard in his 100th career game as a Minnesota Gopher gets the first one. This is a guy that 2 years ago when Munson came on the scene as head coach said none of us liked him. And we were rebelling because we all like Clem Haskins and we're sorry to see him go. But in the last 2 years, the attitudes have changed here as the Gophers are winning and winning well. This crowd tries to help the Gophers on what could be the last possession of the opening half. Coverdale covered by Fleming. 5 seconds for the half. On the drive, leaves it short. The follow-up is in. And what Indiana did all the first half, they're able to do at the buzzer. Indiana leading 48-37 at halftime. We send you the Big Ten studio for Mike Gleason, the American Century halftime report from SportsCenter in-game.
All right.
Tony Kornheiser, Michael Wilbon.
I knew, I just didn't want you to know.
Two guys with a lot on their minds.
We've got issues. Shaq and Kobe didn't get along.
I don't like you, and we're going to have to do this show together.
Now they're teaming up for Pardon the Interruption on ESPN.
Sports
and other stuff.
Here is Rodman after he got hit in the 4th round. We're fat, we're bald, we're old.
Hey, you're bald, I'm shaved. Shaved is a lot better.
Pardon the Interruption, 5:30 p.m. Eastern, weekdays on ESPN.
It's not pretty.
PTI.
And Brent Darby with 26, including 11 of the last 12. Second game, Penn State and Iowa. That goes to the Iowa Hawkeyes as Reggie Evans has another double-double, 18 points and 10 rebounds. Back with more of the American Century halftime reports right after these messages.
Tony Kornheiser, Michael Wilbon.
I knew, I just didn't want you to know.
Two guys with a lot on their minds.
We've got issues. Shaq and Kobe didn't get along.
I don't like you, and we're going to have to do this show together.
Now they're teaming up for Pardon the Interruption on ESPN.
Sports
and other stuff.
Here is Rodman after he got hit in the 4th round. We're fat, we're bald, we're old.
Hey, you're bald, I'm shaved. Shaved is a lot better.
Pardon the Interruption, 5:30 p.m. Eastern, weekdays on ESPN.
It's not pretty.
PTI.
It's unpredictable. It's unrehearsed. It's unscripted.
Makes the guy want to watch a little motocross.
Unscripted with Chris Connolly. Weekdays at 5 on ESPN.
Aaron Brisky.
Winter X Games 6 in Aspen begins February 1st on ESPN.
Run to March is on. Get it all on ESPN Full Court. It's maximum college basketball with upcoming key conference tourney action and women's NCAA tournament games. Get the huge late-season games you want at a special reduced price. Hoops heaven from the people who live and breathe college basketball. ESPN. It's good! ESPN Full Court only on pay-per-view. To order, call your local cable company, DirecTV at 1-800-DirecTV, or Dish Network at 1-800-333-DISH.
Welcome to the American Century halftime report. American Century managing money for individuals and institutions for over 40 years. Well, Kansas made Quinn Snyder a believer earlier this week when the Jayhawks ripped Snyder's Missouri Tigers by 32 points. Today, number 2 Kansas goes looking for their 26th straight win over the Buffaloes of Colorado. The odds certainly are not in the favor of the Buffaloes. And Nick Collison is fouled right here down in the low post. He still is able to hit the shot. It's 47-29. Kirk Heinrich with the crossover hits the J down in the left corner. 66-39. And right now the updated score, it is 78-48 in the second half. Big game, Conference USA. Cincinnati's 20-game winning streak comes to a halt. Dwayne Wade has 25, Cordell Henry 20. Marquette and Cincinnati now tied in Conference USA at 8-1. In the SEC, Florida and Mississippi State, the Gators hoping to snap a 3-game skid, their first 3-game skid since 1998. Oklahoma, Texas, these two teams tied at 5-2, 2 games behind Kansas in that division. Kansas State is 2-5, Oklahoma State 4-4, but Larry Reed gets 18 points, 7 assists, and they get their first win over the Cowboys in 6 tries. SEC, Gerald Fitch has 17. Kentucky goes to 15-5 on the year. Halftime in Williams Arena. Game number 3 of the Big Ten tripleheader. 48-37, Indiana.
Hi, I'm Jeff Kent, and I'm here to talk about ESPN the magazine. You know, when they first asked me to do this, I was pretty excited. They could have had just about any athlete. So to choose me is really something. It's humbling to be able to give something back. So all you young players out there, listen up. ESPN the magazine is only $1 an issue. We'll even throw in a free fleece.
That's right, Jeff. When you call 1-800-504-6644, you'll get 26 issues for just $1 an issue. So call 1-800-504-6644.
Thanks for listening to me.
There's only one neighborhood where the legends compete in the greatest games in history, ESPN Classic. Only ESPN Classic has the greatest games from the NFL, baseball, NBA, NHL, NASCAR, and fights from the largest boxing library in the world. Call 1-800-CLASSIC to get all your favorite classic sports. Plus, Sports Century, the Emmy and Peabody Award-winning series that profiles the top 50 athletes of all time and beyond. To get ESPN Classic, call 1-800-CLASSIC today.
When my time on Earth is gone and my activities here are past, I want they bury me upside down and my critics can kiss my...
Thanks. Digimon is like a different group, wholly separate from the Pokemons.
Thanks for clarifying that.
Sure.
Now, your first source for round-the-clock sports news is even better. The new ESPN News. A brand new look with the enhanced bottom line that's always on and lets you know what's ahead. Constant score updates and live in-game stats. Highlights, news conferences, analysis, and more. The new ESPN News is here.
You know, we at ESPN were always complaining about how there weren't any good places for sports fans to eat.
Look, it's a hairnet, it's the law, all right?
So we opened ESPN Zone. Non-stop sports coverage. Tons of cool games. And really terrific food.
He got it. She got it. They got it.
But really, ESPN Zone's a place where everybody, even Grandma, can let loose. Booyah! Have fun.
Welcome back to the American Century Halftime Report. Indiana leads Minnesota at the half. The Hoosiers with 20 minutes to go to move back into a two-way tie with Ohio State at the top of the Big Ten ladder. More scores are coming up, but right now let's head back to Williams Arena, where Jim Barber has a special guest. Greg Olson, the former Gopher, now a member of the Atlanta Braves. Jim?
Thank you, Mike. A great guest who's had a great day. First with Twins Fest and now watching the Gophers play this afternoon. You've got a dream day going.
I certainly do. A little baseball at the Metrodome in the morning, and now hopefully with the Golden Gophers coming back in the second half, it'll be a perfect day.
He also has a special interest in the pro alumni game that's coming up between some of the past Gopher greats and current as well. Tell us a little bit about that, if you would.
Yeah, on Monday evening, the University of Minnesota against the alumni Gophers. It'll be at the Metrodome, 6:30. It's really the first time a game will be played in 2002. John Anderson has done a phenomenal job with this University of Minnesota baseball program. And for the alumni, it's a great time to come back. You know, you're going to see guys like Paul Molitor, Terry Steinbach, Dan Wilson, Terry Lightenberg, just a lot of Major League, Denny Nagel, Major Leagues, plus a lot of minor league talent coming up. This year he's throwing a little twist into it. We're going to have a home run hitting contest. So it should be a lot of fun on Monday night at the Dome.
And in this pro alumni matchup, wooden bats.
But the wooden bats this year. You know, one thing that certainly the college kids have an advantage over the professionals, because that ball comes off so much quicker on those aluminum bats. So John Anderson this year has decided to go with all wood bats. So it should be a fun time.
We could have a home run derby during the middle of the game.
Yeah, it could be a home run derby. Actually, a lot of people think is it just a, you know, like a scratch game. I tell you what, the Gopher players come out and try to win, and the alumni try to come out to win, so it's very competitive as well.
Greg, it's been a pleasure, so thanks for joining us.
Well, thanks for having me here. Go Gophers in the second half.
Let's send it back to Mike Gleason in the Big Ten studios.
All right, thanks a lot, Jim. Time now for our look at Nourishing Potential, brought to you by Cargill. Rick Rickert was all set to head to Arizona to play for the Wildcats, but this McDonald All-American had some second thoughts, decided to follow in his dad's footsteps and stay in the state to play for the Golden Gophers. 6'10" freshman's averaging nearly 14 points and 5 rebounds a game, hitting on 54% of his shots. Rickert, the highest scoring rookie in the conference. Cargill, because the better we're fed, the more we hunger to achieve. Rick Rickert and the Golden Gophers trail Indiana at the break.
There's a place.
Gary Wright is the touchdown scorer of the century.
A place for discovery. And a place to remember.
Thank you for touching us all.
It's a place where your heroes never retire.
This one's for John.
The place is ESPN Classic. To get ESPN Classic, call 1-800-CLASSIC today.
Winter X Games 6 in Aspen begins February 1st on ESPN.
Lance, what's the story?
Hey, Dan, sorry. Thought everybody left for the night.
Can I get you an energy bar? How about some water?
No, man, I'm okay.
You good?
Thanks.
All right.
Every Sunday, ESPN Classic reminds you why some of the biggest titles in sports weren't won on the field. They were watched on the screen.
Let's go while we're young.
Hollywood's biggest films.
Let's show them what we got, guys.
And its heaviest hitters. Real classics, where the world of sports and movies collide. Every Sunday night at 9 on ESPN Classic.
I'm Joe Tight Shorts, college basketball expert. I'm here all season, offering tips, while my assistant Buzzy works the game films. I'm not here to change your diapers, ladies. I'm here to help you learn. Let's show them a little D. Psych out your opponent with my tip-off trance. You gotta own that territory. Stick with me, come away a smarter player. College basketball on ESPN. Learn from the best.
Welcome to the annual ESPN Magazine Sports Mascot Picnic. Every year, pro and college mascots come from all over to talk about how much they love ESPN the Magazine. You know more mascots subscribe to ESPN the Magazine than any other sports magazine in the world? And every new subscriber gets this ESPN the Magazine fleece pullover absolutely free.
Get 26 issues 1 year for just $1 an issue.
Hey, pick up the phone and call for ESPN the Magazine and your free fleece pullover.
Welcome back to the American Century Halftime Report. American Century, managing money for individuals and institutions for over 40 years. It's time now for Citgo We Know You, brought to you by Citgo, proud to sponsor today's athletes. Steve Alford certainly needs no introduction, despite your age. This guy was Indiana basketball during his stay in Bloomington, three-time All-America, led the Hoosiers in scoring all 4 years, while also leading the Hoosiers to the national title in '87. Same year he was named the Big Ten Most Valuable Player. Updating some scores now in the SEC, Ole Miss and Georgia. Ole Miss is 6-2, but they've dropped the last two to the Dogs. And in the ACC, Wake Forest, that's their 4th straight win over Florida State. Let's go to the Big East, Villanova and Pittsburgh, 58-43 in the second half. And Iowa State, Texas Tech in the Big 12. Bobby Knight moved into the rankings with a win over Oklahoma, and Oklahoma State lost to Nebraska. And then they come back and beat Iowa State 69-43. Tom Coverdale loves the long-range artillery. Enjoy the second half. You'll find yourself back in Minneapolis right after this.
Oh, yeah. Grand slam home run for Ripken. And Gwynn will win it for the Padres.
A star for the ages for Tony Gwynn, number 3,000.
Another milestone for Cal Ripken Jr.
I can still feel his hooks in my ribs and taste the leather from his uppercuts. So why should I get out of the corner? Because I'd gladly take another 3 minutes of pain for a shot at the title. Wouldn't you?
Friday Night Fights on ESPN2.
All right, Mike, hour 32 of ESPN Radio's Hands on the Heisman contest continues, and so far we don't see any quit in any of these contestants.
Except for me. They quit soon. 32 hours. This is amazing how long they can stand there, let alone stand with their legs and then hang on to something as well. It's very impressive so far. I couldn't do this.
It's not so much the endurance, it's the ability to withstand the boredom. For a check of the ESPN radio station near you, go to espnradio.com.
The games that became classics. The athletes that became legends. The moments that became history. They're all on ESPN Classic. Explore the best in sports history through programs that take you inside the game, the life, the moment like no one else can. Call 1-800-CLASSIC and experience ESPN Classic.
Do you like the conditioner and shampoo in one?
Well, yeah, you know, I do, but it does leave my hair a little oily and... Dang it! What is wrong with you idiot? This is not a toy!
Easy, Bobby. He's sensitive.
What if he tore it up? I can't believe...
You've got some big ones, my friend. I didn't think you had it in you.
Scratch here. There's a dent over here. Parkway for three.
27-year-old Steffi Graf, Wimbledon champion.
The Super Bowl most valuable player is Troy Aikman.
1 second on the clock.
Dallas touchdown.
The second half is ready to begin, but let's take a look at the Volkswagen first half highlights. We'll begin with pretty good excitement by the Gophers.
Well, Rick Rickert got out to a slow start, but here he shows his versatility. 2 of his 10 points in the first half, and Dusty Reichert sharing scoring honors for the Golden Gophers. Nice job of being patient, knocking down that 15-foot jump shot. But for Indiana, George Leach, big production off the bench. 2 of his 8 points in only 5 minutes, and Tom Coverdale in the scramble situation knocked down a bunch of threes. Here in transition, he gets 3 points the old-fashioned way as he goes to the foul line and converts on the transition.
A lot to smile about by Coverdale. 15 first half points. He's already above his average of 12 a game, Sean. Let's see how Minnesota attacks the boards in the second half. They attacked Odell on that, got the turnover.
Nice job by Bennett of rotating over, leads to the steal.
It goes through Rickard to start, and Jeffries comes over with some help side defense to get the block.
There's an example of why Indiana is the top shot blocking team in the conference.
Fife missing, and this time the Gophers with the rebound. They've got to do a better job on the boards. That's a given after being dominated in the rebounding category in the first half.
Well, Rickard and Reichert with 1 rebound each in the first half, both with 1 more than a dead man.
Yeah, that's not much, and I'm sure Munson had that to talk about at halftime, among other things. Holman almost lost his footing. 10 to shoot on the possession, a minute into the second half. Fleming did not score in the first half. His offense will be a big plus in the second.
Minnesota, Jim, right back in this. We talked about the importance of not panicking. They certainly have not done that coming out of the locker room, cutting into that deficit. We're in a single situation right now.
Let's go back to the first half numbers. You know Indiana shot the ball well. So did Minnesota. It's the rebounding that was stunning. 25 for the Hoosiers, 10 of those on the offensive glass.
And that rebounding differential also led to more transition opportunities for Indiana. Minnesota, you can't run if you don't rebound. Their opportunities in transition few and far between in the first 20 minutes.
Gophers will do a little zone activity on this possession. Indiana has at least 3 touch the ball and 2 guys on Jeffries. Nice fake by Fife. And that leaves Hornsby open for 3. But Jeffries tracks it down for Indiana. Fife with a quick bullet inside. Indiana moves the ball around so nicely, and Hornsby with a little lean in there.
And a good job by Odell of finding the seam, and that zone defense forces Minnesota to collapse, leads to the kick out to Hornsby dribble drive.
Mike Davis was saying the other night, a win at Minnesota a plus because it's a tough place to win. He said if we lose, we come back, we regroup for Iowa. But a win would be huge in this conference, and what do we got? A takedown here. Hey, I thought Iowa and Minnesota wrestled last night.
And Phil Boba comes in and calls just that, the foul. Watch right here. The skip pass, the dribble drive by Fife, gets it blocked from behind, and then the right wrist would go up. That would be 2 points.
You know, they've got such great wrestling programs here. I wonder if they're going to take notice.
Now, if Jimmy Mouth of the South Heart comes out, you got a WrestleMania.
Even the governor, Jesse Ventura, would like that. They had their largest crowd for a wrestling match last night at the Target Center, 15,000 and change.
And Bennett right there draws the foul underneath in the scramble situation for Minnesota.
I shouldn't be surprised with the way Fife plays basketball and his intensity. In the bio in the Indiana media book, one of the things he likes to do is harass his roommates. 10-point Indiana lead. 3 minutes gone by in the second half. Jim Barber and Sean Morris from a jam-packed Williams Arena. Jeffries' triple team. Somebody is open, Jared. And we got an offensive foul. Jeffries did not get the ball out to anybody.
And they call him for clearing out right there. As he caught the ball at that right elbow, 3 Golden Gophers collapsed on him, harassing him. He tried to clear space with the dribble. They catch him for clearing out with the inside arm.
Jeffries plays on. If you're Mike Davis, you pull the hook right now.
Not with the momentum right now that I think that Minnesota has.
Even with a 10-point lead.
I'd keep him in there.
That's what Mike will do. Gophers got within 6 toward the end of the first half. The lead right now is at 10. Holman tries to go to work on that 4th foul, and why not? And Jeffries is not backing down. Still, the Gophers have a better second half on the board, Sean.
And Minnesota much more active going after loose balls. Here it goes inside. The block shot by Jeffries on Holman, but Rickard right there able to go up. I think they got Odell on the contact.
Rickard had 17 first half points the other night. The long rebound comes down to Fife for the Hoosiers. Fife open for a 3, but thought better with the better Rickard flying by him. 8-point lead in this building is nothing. And out of bounds to Minnesota.
Poor passing angle right there by Kyle Hornsby. If he's going to feed the post, he needed to take one more dribble, create a better angle for the post entry feed there to Jeffries.
And the Gophers have a chance to get within 6 or maybe 5. Here's Holman. He's been pretty active in the second half. Still looking for that 4th foul on Jeffries. Coverdale, who plays pretty good defense on Fleming.
Smart play, though, by Minnesota going right after Jeffries with the 3.
Odell came over to help out. And that knocks down the possession under 10 as Fleming starts his drive and scores.
And that dribble drive is made possible, 1, by the good offensive move, but 2, with the 3 fouls. Jeffries not able to be as aggressive defensively as he might be otherwise.
14,500 at the barn. Trying to give Indiana its 2nd conference loss. Tough 3 for Coverdale, leaves it short, but they track down the offensive rebound. Jeffries drawing a lot more attention lately. Fight for 3. Indiana has cooled down from the arc.
And Minnesota dodged a bullet because they have not done a good job of cleaning up on those long shot, long rebound opportunities.
Tough 3 there. Rickard with the rebound and a foul on Indiana. And the emotion and the momentum has switched here.
Is 2nd, team 3rd.
5 minutes gone by in the second half, and this game has taken a turn. Gophers from 13 back and fly within 6.
Can happen to the best of us. This time it happened to Rich.
Keep in touch.
He ended up getting sent down.
And now for sports.
Thank you, Courtney. All JV wrestlers must return their uniforms to Coach.
He was a real asset down there. His maturity, his experience.
Miss Joyson, could you buy some beer? Okay, when I go like this, that's your cue.
No.
Please?
No.
Come on.
No.
Do you even go to this school? Because you're not supposed to be on the show unless you go to this school.
But we're glad he worked his way back to the show, and I'm sure he is too.
So, let's see some James K. Polk spirit.
Tony Kornheiser, Michael Wilbon.
I knew, I just didn't want you to know.
Two guys with a lot on their minds.
We've got issues. Shaq and Kobe didn't get along.
I don't like you, and we're gonna have to do this show together.
Now they're teaming up for Pardon the Interruption on ESPN.
Sports
and other stuff.
Here is Rodman after he got hit in the 4th round. We're fat, we're bald, we're old.
Hey, you're bald. I'm shaved. Shaved is a lot better.
Pardon the Interruption, 5:30 p.m. Eastern, weekdays on ESPN.
It's not pretty.
It's unpredictable. It's unrehearsed. It's unscripted.
Makes the guy want to watch a little motocross.
Unscripted with Chris Connolly. Weekdays at 5 on ESPN.
Winter X Games 6 in Aspen begins February 1st on ESPN.
With IU up by 6, let's take a look at Shooting the Rock, brought to you by Rolling Rock. Grab a rock.
Well, Indiana cooled off considerably from their first half where they were torrid, but Minnesota climbing back in, even though the shooting percentage doesn't reflect it, they've been much more active on the offensive end, actually come up with a couple of offensive rebounds, something that were very, very rare for the Golden Gophers in the first 20 minutes.
That guy right there was responsible for a couple of threes early in the game for Minnesota, Michael Bauer. And his first active duty in the second half begins now with the Gophers within 6. Fleming had a 3 to start the half. Rimmed that one. Rebound, Jared Jeffries.
And his elbow came down and caught Bauer right in the face.
And on the other end, a dunk by Newt, and Bauer is still down. Boy, he got stung.
And it wasn't a flagrant elbow, Jim.
No.
Jeffries just came down. You take a look at it on the right side of your screen. Comes down. Yeah, he's not looking for him. He's not swinging the elbow. Bauer just happened to be at the wrong place at the wrong time. And if this were in Atlantic City, he'd take the mandatory standing 8 count and they'd go back at it.
Yeah. Of course, if Mike Tyson was there, it wouldn't be much of a fight, would there?
Oh, no, because he'd bitten somebody's ear off or something by that time.
Roger Shipper, the assistant trainer, has been very busy today. First with Phil Bova, one of the officials who got hurt in the first half for the moment, and now Michael Bauer.
He's saying he's fine, and if he got hit on the bridge of the nose, what happens almost immediately is your eyes start to water a little bit. He'll clear the cobwebs. He'll be back in there.
You sound like a guy that this has happened to before.
Have you seen my face? It would explain a lot.
I never knew you to be one to mix it up. I thought you were one of those finesse players.
Well, I'm not a lover. I'm not a fighter. I'm not sure what I am, Jim.
Mike Davis enjoying an 8-point lead, although you really don't enjoy much in this building when the Gophers and this crowd gets going. Rickard trying to back Newton down. Just a pretty reverse layup.
That was gorgeous. Excellent footwork, and goes to the other side of the rim to shield the defender. Excellent footwork by the freshman.
That is a patent Rick Rickard move. Saw him do that here Wednesday night and also against Ohio State last Saturday. Moye beats his man inside. Might have taken an extra step, but Indiana keeps playing. Why not?
Yeah, Moye got away with a walk right there, but Indiana's there to clean up again.
In the Big Ten today, a narrow win for Ohio State, a big one for Iowa. And Minnesota trying to keep the home edge going. The top 5 in this conference, Sean, have not lost a home game in the Big Ten.
And Rickard showing his versatility. The baseline move, the last possession, here in transition, knocks down the 3.
Florida having a field day today with Mississippi State. Fans here starting to turn up the emotion. Good fake by Fife, but he's left a couple of them short here in the second half. Gophers all the way back within 5 and very much swinging the momentum back their way. Jeffries on the bench, or rather in the middle, trying to stay away from his 4th foul. He comes over to get another block, but Rickard, with an easy chance to put it back in, missed it.
Oh, nice touch pass.
Very nice, but Fife is coming up short here in the second half. Not a good sign for Indiana.
Might need some Geritol, a little light on the iron there.
Yeah, he's missed 3 in a row. This crowd supplies so much energy to the home side Gophers. And we got free throws coming up for Maurice Hargrove. Rick Rickard, top player in the state of Minnesota in high school hoops last year, and his game developing so well right now.
Excellent baseline move, showing his versatility on the next possession in transition, spotting up, knocking down the 3.
Likes to take some time after the game to come back to the barn and do a little shooting. Gets his dad to help out. We talked at the beginning of the 2 guys who wear number 1, figuring that would be a factor. Jeffries has been very little of a factor, although Sean brought up the idea and the fact that he has done so many other things, and that includes the rebounding. But how about Rickard's rebounds in the second half, my friend?
Only had 1 in the first half, 4 here in the second half. A couple of those on the offensive end, once again allowing Minnesota to get extra possessions and allowing them to climb right back in this ball game.
And with Indiana struggling from the three-point line, they need Jeffries' offense. Although Fife comes right back with a 3 right after he had struggled so badly. So scratch that idea that I gave out, at least for the moment. Holman working inside on Leach, and Jerry Holman now starting to get involved.
Nice move by the junior college transfer. He uses his left hand to go over the left-hand shot blocker in Leach, who gave Indiana big minutes off the bench in the first half.
Indiana gets through the pressure without little problem. They play on with 3 fouls to Jared Jeffries and just 6 points. Jeffries will try a 3, and good position by Kevin Burleson. This is Reichard looking for that 4th foul, and he backs it and brings the Gophers within 3.
Excellent footwork by Reichard. Squares up, forces Jeffries to back off. Doesn't want to give that 4th foul, allowing the clean look.
11:20 for the game, and the Gophers are back in business. They've come all the way back, now within just 3.
Run to March is on. Get it all on ESPN Full Court. It's maximum college basketball with upcoming key conference tourney action and women's NCAA tournament games. Get the huge late-season games you want at a special reduced price. Hoops heaven from the people who live and breathe college basketball. ESPN. It's good! ESPN Full Court only on pay-per-view. To order, call your local cable company, DirecTV at 1-800-DirecTV, or Dish Network at 1-800-333-DISH.
Hi, I'm Jeff Kent, and I'm here to talk about ESPN the magazine. You know, when they first asked me to do this, I was pretty excited. They could have had just about any athlete. So to choose me is really something. It's humbling to be able to give something back. So all you young players out there, listen up. ESPN the magazine is only $1 an issue. We'll even throw in a free fleece.
That's right, Jeff. When you call 1-800-504-6644, you'll get 26 issues for just $1 an issue. So call 1-800-504-6644.
Thanks for listening to me.
There's only one neighborhood where the legends compete in the greatest games in history, ESPN Classic. Only ESPN Classic has the greatest games from the NFL, baseball, NBA, NHL, NASCAR, and fights from the largest boxing library in the world. Call 1-800-CLASSIC to get all your favorite classic sports. Plus, Sports Century, the Emmy and Peabody Award-winning series that profiles the top 50 athletes of all time and beyond. To get ESPN Classic, call 1-800-CLASSIC today.
The governor of the state of Minnesota, Jesse Ventura. Just a regular guy out there, huh?
Well, you're a regular guy when you're the governor, and he looks a lot different than the feather boa that he used to wear in his previous career as a WWF wrestling announcer. And I guarantee you this, of the other 49 governors, the people who hold his position, my money's on him if it gets down to a cage match.
He probably liked what he saw earlier in this half with the takedown. 11:15 left in regulation. And Moye knocked to the ground, and Phil Bova says you can't do that. That's a foul.
But if you're Minnesota, you can't fault the aggressiveness. Something that you really didn't see in the first half. Now they're playing with a great deal more energy, going after, trapping Indiana.
We get the official under 12-minute timeout, and we have got a very competitive game. That's what we expected between number 2 and 3 in the conference.
When my time on earth is gone and my activities here are past, I want they bury me upside down and my critics can kiss my...
Thanks. Digimon is like a different group, wholly separate from the Pokemons.
Thanks for clarifying that.
Sure.
Now, your first source for round-the-clock sports news is even better. The new ESPN News. A brand new look with the enhanced bottom line that's always on and lets you know what's ahead. Constant score updates and live in-game stats. Highlights, news conferences, analysis, and more. The new ESPN News is here.
You know, we at ESPN were always complaining about how there weren't any good places for sports fans to eat.
Look, it's a hairnet, it's the law, all right?
So we opened ESPN Zone. Non-stop sports coverage. Tons of cool games. And really terrific food.
He got it. She got it. They got it.
But really, ESPN Zone's a place where everybody, even Grandma, can let loose. Booyah! Have fun.
I want to take this opportunity, Sean, to wish you a happy Groundhog Day.
Thank you very much. Did the little fella see a shadow or not?
Apparently there were differences of opinion. Some of the groundhogs said 6 more weeks of bad weather, and the good groundhog said spring's coming.
And Punxsutawney Field, he ain't talking.
He's not committed right at this point. Up on Coverdale, Travaris Bennett. Indiana has had a tough go of it at the threes, although a moment ago, Dane Fife hit one. Hoosiers could use some inside presence here with their offense.
And this zone has given Indiana trouble when Minnesota's gone to it here.
Leach tries to work his way in, puts one up, and the rebound to Minnesota. Gophers a better job on the boards in the second half.
Active hands forced it loose initially, forcing Leach to shoot it before he had control.
The three would tie this one up and send this place into a frenzy. The difference is 3. Hargrove spinning and scoring. He grew up in St. Paul. That's just down the ways here. Indiana attacks. Now protecting just a 1-point lead. Nowhere to go for Leach. That was a tough spot. Gophers trying to raise the roof. This would be their second lead of the game.
And that's the second time that Holman's been able to get on the block and score over the long reach of George Leach, the top shot blocker in the conference.
In this building, Minnesota is, in a word, incredible. And Hargrove to raise the roof again. Adjust the volume on your set.
And this is why the crowd is so excited. A transition opportunity, an easy basket, something that Indiana had plenty of in the first half. Minnesota did not. They've completely reversed the table, and it started on the defensive end of the floor, not only forcing Indiana to operate almost exclusively from the perimeter, but also doing a much better job of cleaning up on the glass, getting 3-on-2 and 2-on-1 situations, something which Indiana punished the Golden Gophers with in the first half.
We said that's the reason the Gophers have come back, and we also said an 8-point lead in this building for the visitors means nothing. Unless you've got maybe a couple seconds left on the clock. And even then I'd probably worry. Let's see what kind of composure the Hoosiers have. A win by Minnesota. Puts Ohio State in the conference lead by a game. And puts the Gophers within 1 of Indiana. like Fleming might have got it inadvertently tagged. And Indiana needing some inside game. That was still a pretty good move, but missed it.
Good sequence, just not able to convert by Newton.
Hoosiers can keep that going. They'll certainly be in this one. 9 minutes for the second half. Minnesota with a 3-point lead. Now the Gophers are patient. Bauer trying to shoot over Jeffries and rolls it in. And right now everything working well for Minnesota.
Excellent job by Bauer of squaring up, ripping the ball through, and forcing Jeffries to give ground, but rebounding completely reversed from the first half statistics.
Jeffries on a great bounce pass inside. We have a foul coming up in free throws for Jeffrey Newton. We are at the Wild and Wacky Barn in Minneapolis, where the volume has been up for most of the second half, way up. Jim Barber, Sean Morris. Indiana trying to win for the first time in the last 5 games here. Combined losses by just 16 points, and a very difficult one last year where they led by 13 under 3 minutes to go and lost it.
And just as in that game a year ago, Jim, where, as you mentioned, Minnesota was able to come all the way back from 13 down with under 3 minutes to go. It was defense which got them back in the game. A year ago at this time, it's the same situation here. They've really locked down, been much more assertive on the defensive end of the floor, which has allowed some easy transition opportunities, allowed their confidence to build on the offensive end.
True. Second half, just 10 points for Indiana. 10 after that great first half of scoring.
Boy, the body language of these two teams has done a complete 180 as well. At the end of the half, when Leach had that stick back that allowed Indiana to have a double-digit lead, they were hopping off the floor very enthusiastic. Where the Hoosiers, the shoulders were slumping for the Golden Gophers. Completely different situation now.
Gophers had not lost a conference game this year at home, and you look at the concern now on the Indiana bench, which is the exact opposite of what we saw earlier. And the Gopher bench, meanwhile, pretty thrilled about a 6-point lead. And now Indiana, I think, is reaching that critical point where they don't want to find themselves down by 10 or 12.
Even though Minnesota is zoning, Jim, you have to make a concerted effort to go inside, try to stem the tide of that 14-1 run that Minnesota's in the midst of.
A steal by Burleson to Rickert. The house is coming down.
And I think right now, if you're Indiana, obviously you have to make a concerted effort to get the ball inside, but you might want to try to get Coverdale back in there as a steadying influence.
Indiana gets the benefit of a television timeout. Munson probably like his guys to keep playing. Minnesota 8 minutes away from upsetting Indiana.
There's a place.
Harry Wright is the touchdown scorer of the century.
A place for discovery. And a place to remember.
Thank you for touching us all.
It's a place where your heroes never retire.
This one's for John.
The place is ESPN Classic. To get ESPN Classic, call 1-800-CLASSIC today.
Winter X Games 6 in Aspen begins February 1st on ESPN.
Lance, what's the story? Hey, Dan, sorry. Thought everybody left for the night. Can I get you an energy bar? How about some water? No, man, I'm okay. You good? Thanks.
All right. Sean, I'm not sure there's a louder venue in the Big Ten Conference, maybe in the country, when this place gets rocking.
When those people have been a big part of pulling Minnesota back into this ball game. The momentum has shifted, and there's a reason why. Take a look at the field goal percentage in the second half. Not only the opportunities, but the conversion rate by Minnesota has allowed them to not only cut into Indiana's lead, but erase it completely and build an 8-point bulge of their own.
Newton trying to make his way through and does it well. Indiana without Jared Jeffries' offense today. He has only 6 points. He's been playing on with 3 fouls, trying to stay as close as possible. Last week, Minnesota erased an 8-point deficit in the second half and won by 18 over Ohio State. Today, 13 back and now up 6 against IU. Not a good shot by Bauer, and now Indiana a chance to get a little closer.
Good job of closing out by Indiana. Got a hand on it, deflected the offering by Bauer.
Newton starting to go to work inside.
If you're Newton, you have to go up stronger than that, Jim. Don't go away from the contact. Go right in there. That'll make it an easier call for the official to make.
But what about getting Jeffries some more opportunities out there?
It's going to be hard for them to get more opportunities because he just picked up his 4th foul trying to beat Rickert to the block.
This has not been an All-America game for Jared Jeffries. 6 points, 4 personal fouls, and on the 6 points, just 1 of 6 shooting from the floor. Well, Indiana shot the ball well,
and Davis just got teed up.
Yep. And that's going to add to their pain right now. He's also going to set Jeffries down. Indiana shot the ball so well in the first half. Then when the 3-point shooting started to go away in the second half, they had no other answer. So free throws coming up because of the tee on Davis.
And the Minnesota Golden Gophers will also get possession of the basketball. That's a tough one to get because the crowd was already into it, and that just throws some kerosene on the fire.
Indiana also is over the limit. I mean, what other bad things can go wrong at this point for IU? And you may look back at this sequence at 6:58 and say game, set, and match if the Gophers are able to score several points. Difference of halves. Indiana controlled the first one, and Minnesota, with the support of its crowd and the good rebounding, has taken control in the second half.
And just as it was transition opportunities and conversions by Indiana in the first half, it's been the complete reverse. Minnesota able to get out and get easy baskets, which has allowed them to have the 6-point lead.
What a great time for the Gophers to cash in.
What's being shot right now is the foul on Jeffries.
And that makes it Minnesota 68, Indiana 60. Indiana would like to be within 4, but actually the deficit is 8.
Actually, they shot the technical first. Now you'll have the 1-and-1 situation.
Rickert now shooting 1-and-1
on the foul on Jeffries.
Indiana with just 12 second-half points in 13 minutes. Jared Jeffries, I suppose, shooting their way back in from the arc would be the way to do it here. They've got the guns to do it, that's for sure. Instead, they attack by way of Odell, and they'll get a 3-point opportunity the old way.
Smart play by Indiana, understanding that the perimeter game has kind of gone south on them a little bit. Go inside, even with Jeffries out of there. Watch him in the little bit of the secondary opportunity. Good heads-up play by Fife. Goes into Odell, a fellow senior. Goes in, keeps his eye on the rim, draws the contact, has a chance to put another point on the board for the Indiana Hoosiers with the clock stopped.
3-point play for Jared Odell. And a huge 3-point play. Quiets the crowd for the moment. Gophers back on offense, protecting now a 7-point lead. And they're getting very good position inside.
And Rickert just abused Indiana right there. Rode the defender up the lane, the good entry feed, and the easy conversion.
Reichardt's got 14 in this game, and that's a 3 for Indiana. That's going to draw him even closer. A 3-pointer of the game for the Hoosiers, who have 5 players that shoot well over 40% from the line. Rickards got 23, but finds an open Burleson for 3. They got it cranked up now. Tough catch. But the ball stays in the hands of Indiana. Newton needs to find Fife, and Fife finds an open Odell, or did he?
Way too soft to pass. Odell needs to come meet it as well.
Burleson, gorgeous pass to Bennett.
Oh, my. I'll tell you what, when it rains, it pours, and if you're Mike Davis, you might want to start building an ark.
This is the nightmare on 4th Street here. Indiana's going to lose for the 5th straight time at Williams unless they can stage a terrific comeback with 5:20 to go. A 28-9 run for Minnesota.
Now watch Rickard right here. That might have been a shot in the first half he forces, but he comes under control, sees the spotting up Burleson in the corner, knocks down the 3, then dribble penetration by Burleson allows Bennett to get set on the wing and knock it down.
50 years ago, they held the national championship game here between Kentucky and Kansas State. Gophers ought to petition the NCAA, get a Final Four here, get away from the domes for a year. Could you imagine these guys in a tournament? Oh, they'd be scary. Frustration now on Indiana's side. And a lot of it in the second half for Mike Davis and his group. It's hard to keep your cool in here if you're a competitor. One free throw for Coverdale, but an 11-point deficit for Indiana.
With Jeffries back in the ball game, and if you're Minnesota, you try to attack him, get that 5th one, get him out of there.
Fleming spinning and scoring. Right now the Gophers are missing nothing. And this one has reached dire straits for the visitors from Bloomington, Indiana. This was an Indiana 13-point lead.
And watch Fleming. The spin creates space. Fife not able to close out. And Minnesota hitting on all cylinders right now.
And remember, Fleming had not scored in the first half.
That's just an excellent individual move. And the reason that he makes that move, Jim, is that the confidence level of this entire Minnesota Golden Gophers squad is right through the roof of this barn. They're seeing their teammates convert. They want to get in on the action, and they are just really taking this game to Indiana right now.
Well, it's a real Minnesota love fest here in the second half. 43 points for the Gophers in 15 minutes. That's almost 3 points a minute.
That's pretty good math.
Yeah, and I was right, too. Now, if I could only balance my checkbook, I'd be all set. Jeffries continues to be double and triple teamed. He did not get the basket to go. He'll have free throws, but Jared Jeffries, after 26 the other night against Purdue, has been held to 6. Rick Rickard now has 4 fouls, but time pretty critical for Mike Davis in Indiana.
Coach Mike Davis going down his list of transgressions there that he wants to see rectified.
And can you do it in 4:51, please? I still believe Jared's the best player in the conference.
This game is just an aberration for him. You don't put up 4 straight double-doubles in this league against the level of competition and not be an outstanding player. He hasn't forced anything, and you have to give an outstanding deal of credit to Minnesota. Obviously, he was the focal point of their game plan.
Did a great job of surrounding him in the second half. Erwin Fleming has ignited the Gophers in this second half. Reichardt's been his steady work in the first and second halves. Now Rickard. Gophers use and clock. They've got 5 to go on this one. Bennett for 3. It's a rare Minnesota miss in the last few minutes. Indiana wants to come back. They need to do it now. Coverdale to an open Jeff Newton. Good hustle by Hornsby, but he threw it away.
Hornsby trying to make the tip pass. Would have been better served to come under control. Allow Indiana to reset.
A Minnesota win draws the Gophers within 1 of what would be second place Indiana if Minnesota hangs on, and that certainly seems to be a very strong possibility. Just 3:50 left in the game.
Every Sunday, ESPN Classic reminds you why some of the biggest titles in sports weren't won on the field. They were watched on the screen.
Let's go while we're young.
Hollywood's biggest films.
Let's show them what we got, guys.
And its heaviest hitters. Real classics, where the world of sports and movies collide. Every Sunday night at 9 on ESPN Classic.
I'm Joe Tight Shorts, college basketball expert. I'm here all season offering tips while my assistant Buzzy works the game films. I'm not here to change your diapers, ladies. I'm here to help you learn.
Let's show him a little D. Psych out your opponent with my tip-off trance. You gotta own that territory.
Stick with me, come away a smarter player. College basketball on ESPN. Learn from the best.
Welcome to the annual ESPN the Magazine Sports Mascot Picnic. Every year, pro and college mascots come from all over to talk about how much they love ESPN the Magazine. You know more mascots subscribe to ESPN the Magazine than any other sports magazine in the world? And every new subscriber gets this ESPN the Magazine fleece pullover absolutely free.
Get 26 issues 1 year for just $1 an issue.
Hey, pick up the phone and call for ESPN the Magazine and your free fleece pullover.
Texas down to Oklahoma by 3. Check this out. .7. Brandon Mouton. Bam! A three-pointer. They're headed for overtime. Now it's 80-79 in OT. Texas by 1. Jim?
Thanks, Mike. As if football's not competitive enough between those two teams. Let's take a look at the BMW ultimate drive of the game. Kerwin Fleming in a great second half.
Nice job of using the dribble. Breaks down Indiana defensively. The 3 fouls by Jeffries at that point. He's not able to take away the lane. Fleming with our BMW ultimate drive of the game.
Fleming's married, has a daughter. Has that composure of married life out there. Just seems to be very calm, even though his team is in trouble. And he has become a starter over the last 3 games. Good addition into the starting lineup. Coverdale for 3. Indiana could use it, but it's not happening for the Hoosiers in the second half. Gophers now set to kill some clock. Well, this game has to be playing well in Columbus, Ohio. Buckeyes survived Northwestern, and with a Minnesota win today, have first place to themselves. Kyle Hornsby says, wait a minute, it's not over yet.
Indiana trying to extend the defense, forcing Minnesota to burn some clock, maybe come up with a quick steal and transition basket.
Don't look to foul yet, do you?
No.
Indiana back again on offense. Good defense, giving him a chance to get back in it. But Coverdale threw it away. Now Fleming races to the basket. Oh, that was a tough turnover for Indiana.
And Fleming better watch himself right now. Keep his emotions in check, because he took it right at the shot blocker Newton, who contested him. Watch it right here. Good job of stepping in the passing angle. Poor passing decision by Coverdale. He takes it right at him, but he hits the deck, gets up, starts talking. Newton smartly walks away, but you want to keep your emotions in check.
That's exactly what Dan Munson said to him as he went over and grabbed him. Fleming's had a great second half. Don't want to lose your cool here. Get teed up and allow Indiana to get closer. Kerwin Fleming shoots 66% from the free throw line. While Indiana's three-pointers for the game will be around 40%, they have cooled off considerably since the first half when they came out shooting lights out.
And Minnesota able to get some of those looks in transition, much more efficient with their perimeter game in the second 40 minutes.
Rick Rickard, 23 points and 5 rebounds today. How about freshman of the year in the conference?
Hard to vote against that.
Still time for Indiana, but every possession needs to count. Hornsby has an open look. That's a three. But it's left short and complicated by a foul.
And Hornsby, Jim, a much better catch and shoot shooter than he is off the dribble. He hesitated just enough, forcing Minnesota to come out and close out on him. That rhythm dribble going to the rest, I think, threw off his motion and rhythm.
I don't think Indiana has taken bad three-point shots in the second half. They've just been short on a number of them.
They've been short, and unlike the first half, they have not been able to get second chance opportunities via offensive rebounds.
Very few of those in the second half after a rebounding edge that probably terrified the coaching staff of Minnesota. Come out with a better purpose in the second half. And when you're shooting the ball 54%, that'll work. They won't let Coverdale breathe for three. But Fife off the pass finds Coverdale for three. Nicely done.
Nice extra pass by Fife. Allows Coverdale to spot up in the corner.
Getting down to 2 minutes. Minnesota getting a double team, and Reichart has to use a timeout here with 27 to work with on the possession clock. A big timeout because Indiana was about to get a tie-up.
Something that we saw a lot in the first half from Indiana, three-point shooting. The extra pass by Fife forces the Minnesota defenders to close out on him, allowing Coverdale to spot up in the corner. They're not able to get to him in time.
Indiana has 10 made threes in the game. Had only one against Purdue, but didn't need three-point shooting that night as Jeffries made a living inside. And it'll have to be the threes, I think, that'll bring him back in this one. Unless you can get several stops here on Minnesota. Just his third year coaching at the U. And he has folks around here saying, hey, what about the NCAA?
And that was a short curtain call for Rick Rickard. He's back in the ball game.
Both Rick Rickard and Jarrett Jeffries in the game with 4 fouls apiece. And on the handoff, a foul coming up on Dane Fife.
Not a bad play by Fife. He's trying to make something happen. Tried to jump on the dribble handoff, drew the contact.
So Fleming with a return visit to the line, and Mike Davis, whose team will deal with Iowa Tuesday night. Next Gopher game, by the way, is also with Iowa on Saturday in Iowa City. So the Hawkeyes may determine the way this conference goes. But if you haven't thought of it by now, it is now a 3-team race in the conference. And of course, Wisconsin still an outside opportunity. 9 points to make up, not impossible, but a turnover. And now Newton with a foul on Fleming. They want to put Kerwin back to the line. Let us take a look at our best play of the game, brought to you by Advance Auto Parts. The best part is our people. He is Travaris Bennett.
Nice dribble penetration by Burleson. Allows Bennett to spot up and knock down a three. One of many plays which allowed Minnesota to get the momentum, get back in the ball game. That three-point shot, our Advance Auto Parts, best play of the game.
You would think he had more points in the second half or the game. He just has 4, but that was pretty important 3. Those free throws are pretty important as well. I mentioned earlier, usually when Indiana hits the 75-point mark, they're unbeatable. That's not going to happen today unless they rally.
And defensively, they just flat out got carved up here in the second 20 minutes by Minnesota.
I agree. On the dish-off before the basket by Newton, a foul on Minnesota. Gophers are over the limit. Any points Indiana can get with the clock not moving is a bonus. And Tom Coverdale will get a chance to bring them within 8. Coverdale leads Indiana in scoring with 19. Coverdale wasn't feeling well earlier this week. His game has not suffered. And they'll shoot into the crowd now, the student section. They'll shoot it short.
Coverdale 2 of 5 from the foul line today, and that's coming from a guy who's close to 90% on the year, Jim.
Back at one point, he was at 95% in the league a couple weeks ago. Jeff Newton has fouled out. 9 points on the game. And Newton has no hurry to sit down, especially with everybody counting left, right with your feet. Fans used to holler at you when you fouled out?
They just were glad they didn't have to watch me play. That was at home.
Let's take a look at the American Century on the money player of the game. Was there any doubt?
No, and after a slow start where he forced a couple of things, he really settled down and showed his versatility, the ability to score on the baseline with a variety of footwork moves and creating space, as well as hitting jump shots in the course of a half-court set, as well as transition.
26 the other night, 24 today. A minute 15, a lean in by Jeffries, a rebound to Rickert. And the Gophers headed to their 6th win in the conference, 13th overall, and a great homestand, beating Ohio State, Penn State, and about to put the lock on Indiana.
And the most significant lock that they put on in this game was on Jared Jeffries, Jim. They really never allowed him to get in the game offensively.
Limited to one basket today, 1 of 8 shooting. Indiana not electing to foul here. Rickert for 3. Lights out. What a second half by Minnesota. 51 points in over 19 minutes. When you come into this building, be afraid. Be very afraid. Now the closeout time for the Gophers, and a chance to enjoy it here in Minneapolis. Game over.
Today's Big Ten game has been brought to you by BMW. Test drive the ultimate driving machine at your local BMW center. United States Army, an army of one. 7-Up, let your local 7-Up bottler make 7-Up yours. And by Cooper Tire, proud to be the official tire of the Big Ten Conference. Cooper Tires, drive on.
A 13-point deficit turns into a 14-point win. 88-74 Gophers. For Sean Morris, I'm Jim Barber. This has been a presentation of ESPN Plus as Rick Rickert leads the Gophers in scoring with 27 on this game, most of them in the second half. Again, a presentation of ESPN Plus, the worldwide leader in collegiate sports television.